can join. So I love doing these calls for a few reasons. We all correspond on our page, and obviously I know, Amanda, you talked about not wanting to blow up. That was you, right? Not wanting to blow up the newsfeed, yeah. But I want you to blow up the newsfeed because that is what this is for. I was just telling, I had my first test group 3 weeks ago for this same program, and they're ending this week. They're done. And I was telling them, because I move everybody into a group afterwards that I never take people out of. It's a big graduate group that everybody can be in forever for support and help. And a lot of times people drop off and they stop posting. And I usually know that that means they're not working out or that they're not eating well, which is fine. But what helps is when we talk about it. When we're not embarrassed and when we say, dude, I ate a sleeve of Oreos today. It was not on my plan and I wasn't supposed to, but I'm going to talk about it so that I can get back on track. So I want you to blow up the newsfeed.
Okay.
Like, good or bad, because that's one thing I want people to know too, is like this group is 100% safe. We are not going to be sharing things outside of this group without permission. It's a secret group. Nobody can see what you're posting except us. So the people in the group you'll be able to see, like, you'll see it in your news feed because you're in the group. But if someone is not in the group, it's not going to show up in their news feed at all. The group isn't even searchable. So if somebody goes in and tries to search this group, you can't even find it. You can't see you're in it. So this is all our secret, right? The group is safe. When you have a rough time, I want to know, because I have rough moments, I have rough days, and I share them for a reason. To help people feel safe to share their rough days so that we can help each other versus hide behind the door and pretend like nothing's wrong or we're doing well when we're really not, because that doesn't help anybody. So on this call, I wanted to first, I know we introduced ourselves a little bit in the group, but I want to introduce ourselves just for a minute. Just say your name, and I actually want to hear your biggest fear of this group. Like, what's your biggest fear of the next 21 days? That you are afraid of. So just take turns. Someone just pipe in and say, I'll go first.
Okay, I'm Amanda Puckett. I noticed there was 2 Amandas in the group. And I guess for me, my biggest fear of the group is not being real. That I guess I've tried a group like this kind of before, and I kind of just felt like it was all surface and nobody ever really got real. And it turned me off, and I was kind of like, okay, this isn't for me. So I guess that's my biggest fear.
So were they just very, like, you mean not real with how they were eating and their exercise, or not real with just life in general?
Really with like the program we were trying to do, it seemed like everybody was always doing everything perfectly, and it was only sharing and shouting out about the successes. So when you talked about sharing about the bad days or your slip ups and things like that, that to me is real. And that does make me feel more safe to know that, okay, yeah, we're not all in here just to try to put on a front like I'm doing this perfectly and great and wonderful.
Right.
That it's safe to kind of share that, oh, today was awful.
Right.
Totally screwed up.
That's actually, I was just talking to my group that was finishing. You guys will hear me talk about that a lot, because I cannot, what's the word? I can't recommend people do what I don't do personally, and I'm not perfect. Like I do not eat perfect. I very rarely have a day where I get all my containers in perfectly and I don't miss any and I don't go over.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that for a reason, because you do not have to be perfect. That's one of my favorite things about this meal plan is it's so structured that it leaves me wiggle room. Does that make sense? If I have an extra carb container, it's okay. If I miss a container, like, it's good to, obviously, the more structured and the closer you are to sticking with it perfectly, right? Like, the closer you are, the faster your results will come. However, I have done things where I am perfect, and I therefore go in the opposite direction about 3 weeks. When I'm done, I'm eating out of the garbage can because I felt so deprived and so structured that I went in the opposite direction.
Right.
So while us being perfect would produce the best results, right? Like it would be the best results if we were perfect. I don't believe in it because I've experienced it too many times where I'm perfect and then I go crazy. I've had 2 different times in the last couple years where I was super perfect for like 3 weeks and I gained 10 pounds in the next 3 weeks. Yeah. Right? That defeats the purpose. It makes it not maintainable. It makes it so that you're on the yo-yo where you're up and down and you'll lose weight and then you gain all the weight. And then you lose weight, you gain all the weight. That's not maintainable. So you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, especially on these live calls where I'm like, please, it's okay if you're not perfect, because I can't even tell you the last day where I had a perfect day with my eating. I can't, because I have maybe one a year.
Yeah.
For real. So I love that was a concern of yours and that I helped put that at ease, because I'm not perfect and neither is anybody else. My child's coming in screaming. Hang on a second. Where's your clothes? Come here. Do you want to say hi to my friends? Say hi. Hi. Say hi. Okay, you can sit with me for a minute, okay? So anyway, I'm really glad you mentioned that because I plan to talk about that anyway. So, okay, who wants to go next and share your biggest fear with us?
I can go next. This is Tinny. I'm on the phone, not on the computer. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So I think my biggest fear is failing. I'm not like making it through the whole group. I know, or the whole challenge, because I've tried so many like workout things and joined gyms, had a personal trainer, and a last. But this is the first time I'm ever. I joined a challenge group that, with people I don't know, and I like the idea that we have to post our before and after pictures. I'm definitely scared about that, but I think that's also will motivate me, and also to hear everyone else's stories. And I know we're all not perfect, and it's just so hard because you try to be perfect, and as a mom and working full time and a wife, you just want everyone to be happy, and then you kind of forget about yourself. So I think this time I want to be selfish and think about myself and put myself first, because I know if I'm happy, then everyone else in my family can be happy too. So that's why I'm afraid of failing, because I don't know. I mean, I'm just afraid that I won't be able to follow up with the whole like challenge.
Right.
But then I have all of you to support me, and to support each other. So that's good.
I'm curious, what would be your idea of failing? Like for you personally, where would you feel like you failed? Would it be like one having like not sticking to your containers perfectly, or would it be like binging and having 7 pieces of pizza? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does failing feel and look like?
I think all of the above. I think gaining I'm afraid that everyone would. I'll be happy that everyone would. Everyone's going to make a change, and you can see their difference. But I'm afraid that I'll be the only one that there won't be a difference in my body.
Yeah,
I'm kind of afraid of that.
And what would that feel like for you? Would that be like embarrassing, or if I'm just saying if that happened, right? If you and Amanda and everybody else had great results, and then you were the only one that didn't, what would that feel like for you? Would that would feel like failing?
Yes, exactly, and embarrassing.
Right.
And that, man, I can't even do this right.
Right. No, I get that, and I think probably everybody has that fear, right, of being the only person who can't stick with it, or alone. That would probably feel very lonely. But we will not leave you back. So if you are struggling, please, you guys, reach out, like post and be it's scary because you're putting yourself out there to be criticized or talked down to, but we have never, in all the groups I've run in the last 3.5 years of doing this, I have never talked down to a person like, that's not my purpose. Ever, even if they never did a single workout. I've only had like one person that never opened their box. But that would defeat the purpose of me and all of us working together. So I think that's awesome that you're facing that fear. You obviously are, because you're here. And we're not gonna make you feel bad if that happened to be the case for anybody. So we're here to help each other and support each other. And I love that you are facing that fear. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I'm really glad to be a part of this group.
I'm glad you're glad. That's great. Okay, Sue, I think you're the last one.
Okay. Well, my mine is very similar to Tinny's. I definitely fear it not working. I've, over the last, 5 years, I've had a lot of struggles with, trying to lose weight with my thyroid and autoimmune disease, and it just hasn't worked. And as I mentioned to you in a private message, I joined a gym over a year ago, and I do work out, and I like to work out. And I have seen some, changes in how I look. I'm getting stronger, but I don't feel like things are, like, the way my clothes are fitting isn't any different. The scale isn't moving. So I'm really struggling with that, and things just don't seem to be working. Things I've tried in the past year haven't been working. So I do have some concerns with this not working as well. Right.
Which would make sense, right? If you've tried, I think most people have tried some form of losing weight or dieting, or, we've all, before I found what worked for me, I had tried lots of things. And so it's scary to be putting yourself out there to try one more thing only to fail, right? Only to have it not work or you not stick with it. So that's one of the most important things of why I talk about being on the journey. And you guys, actually, I just had a post scheduled for 10 o'clock that I did this morning on my fitness page. And if you probably didn't see it because we were already on this call, but I encourage you to go back and look at it, because I posted this morning. I was feeling really good about my progress, and I'm 5 weeks into a program I'm doing right now, and it's my pictures don't look a whole lot different. I was really excited and felt good, and then I took the pictures and was like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, I expected them to be different. And but I know better than to walk away and throw in the towel. Like, hold on, I'm talking to my friends, Kate. I know better than to be frustrated enough to walk away and throw in the towel. I know that I just have to continue doing the best I can and be consistent, and that changes will come. So this is by far, of all the meal plans I have tried in my entire life, which has been a lot, including the ones that I loved, P90X, I loved other fitness programs, but I could not do the meal plan. It was just like way too complicated. This is by far my favorite meal plan. I love that it's structured, but that there's flexibility in it. Because if you're going to tell me to eat salmon and broccoli for every meal, I'm going to barf and only last about a week before I'm just like, forget it. I can't stick to this. So I'm really excited for you guys to do it. Be patient with yourselves. It does take those couple first days to get the hang of it. So I do like, just for reference sake, I do like leaving a protein and 2 vegetables for dinner. Just so you guys, hey, I'm talking to my friends, okay? I'll help you in just a second. Okay? Sorry, you guys. Maybe most of us have kids, right? There you go. That's actually part of the reason I love my job, because I'm like, okay, most people have children, or they're at least around children, so they aren't going to be mad when mine interrupt. What was I saying now? Now I lost my train of thought. But basically, not feeling like you have to be perfect. Remembering that some days you're not going to get all your containers. Other days you might go over 1 or 2. I'm a firm believer in eating more if you feel like you need to. This plan is a guide. So if you are truly hungry, now granted, give the first couple days, give your body a chance to adjust, because if you're used to overeating, it's going to feel different to be eating less, right? If after the first few days you are hungry, you probably need to add a little bit more food. Nobody should be starving on this. You're not going to starve, but past like the first couple of days of your body adjusting, you should not be starving. So do not be afraid to look at the next calorie bracket up and say, oh, the next calorie bracket up, I have 1 more fruit, 1 more carb, and 2 more teaspoons. Don't be afraid to throw one of those in and say, I'm going to have an extra carb today because I feel like I need it, or I'm going to have an extra fruit today. But give your body a couple days to adjust, and then we can talk about if you feel like you need some more food. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that exciting? You don't have to starve? If you're starving, I would tell you to eat more food, for sure. So make sure you're drinking enough water first, because sometimes we're actually just thirsty when we think we're hungry, but we're just thirsty. Drink enough water, and then give it a few days for your body to adjust, and then don't be like, I eat extra carbs all the time. And always an extra vegetable. I'm only supposed to have 3 vegetables. I eat 4 almost every day. I'm not worried about extra vegetables, right? I mean, they're like 20 calories. It's not going to make a difference. So that's a good thing, is you get to eat more food if you feel like you need to. So we'll talk about that. If you're struggling with something, please reach out and share and talk about it. All of us are vulnerable in here. And so be supportive of one another and encouraging, of course. I don't think anybody would be mean or discouraging. We just have that fear, right? Of we're going to be called out, or we're going to be embarrassed, or whatever it is. So do scary things, be vulnerable, make sure you're sharing the good and the bad, so we can work through it together. And your before pictures, make sure, I know those are scary. I will not share them without your permission. We can cut off heads if you guys want to, but I do want your before and after pictures. If you want to take a progress picture every week, you're welcome to do that. In fact, my last group didn't, and I wish they would have.
Are we posting the pictures on the 21-day fix, or do we email them to you? Are we posting the pictures on the 21-day fix, or do we email those to you?
It depends on what makes you comfortable. If you're comfortable posting, awesome. If you want to send them in an email, or like a private message to me, that's totally fine too. If taking pictures, Avery, stop. Okay, you're gonna have to wait. I'm almost finished with my friends, okay? Sorry, my husband is swimming right now, so he's not here to babysit. Anyway, I was like, I keep losing my train of thought, Avery Claire. If you take your pictures, if that's going to motivate you to take them continually throughout the process, go for it. If you feel like, if you're going to be discouraged, a week is not a lot of time. So if you're going to be super discouraged, if you're not seeing like drastic changes, then I wouldn't take them every week. Just kind of, yourself type of thing. And if it's going to help you, then do it. If it's not, then don't. Taking measurements can really help too, because those will usually budge before the scale will. So take measurements and take them the same place on the same side of the body every time, but that's really the only guidelines you really need. Your waist, your chest, your hips are good measurements to take. You can do like your arm, your leg, your upper thigh. Just take it same side of the body, same place every time. So I would encourage that. What's that?
For the pictures, are you wanting like front, side, back?
Yeah. Just typical. You can, whatever you do, you're just going to take them the same way every time. So try to do the same time of day, so the lighting in the room is the same. If you can, same outfit, because I am not a fan of fake before and after pictures. We're not going to try to make these look better than they are. Usually I have people send them to me. Yeah, that's pretty. I will line up your shoulders, your hips, so they are the same, and not, because some people, I'm like, BS, like your body's like this small in the after picture and your before picture is like all close up. Like, no, I am picky about that, because we're producing real results, not pretending to produce results. So, does that make sense?
Yep. Tiffany, do you want us to wear like shorts and a sports bra and take pictures? Is that okay?
That's up to you. If you are not comfortable in that, obviously showing your midsection will show they're more visible, but if you are not comfortable with that, you can totally wear a tank top, and obviously something a little more fitted would be better. But if you're comfortable in a sports bra and like shorts, that's perfect. Or if you want to wear a swimsuit, whatever, like I said, we could chop off your head. So, but yeah, I for sure try to wear the same thing, because certain things I wear look different on my progress photos. All right?
Okay.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, be excited. Don't be afraid. We're in this together. We're gonna work through it together. So don't be afraid. And get your pictures taken this weekend so we can have them documented.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I actually do.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So I was reading through the information yesterday, and it talks about carbs, which I've always tried to stay away from with my Hashimoto's disease.
Uh-huh.
But I'm okay eating like quinoa and certain, like even couscous I'm all right with, but in very small quantities, which is nice to see this really small container.
Right.
But my question is, when I've tracked my carb intake, even with like fruits and vegetables, some fruits and vegetables are very high in carbs,
Yes.
and then you're having a carb. Does any of this work against each other? I mean, is there a formula that I should be using to try to make sure I don't take in too many carbs? I know that carbs aren't bad, but I'm trying not to have too many either.
No, I don't usually keep track of grams or anything like that because I think, Avery, I am getting irritated. I don't keep track of grams. I just do the containers. But if your body does better with like sweet potato for that instead of a grain, then go for it. And if your body doesn't do well with grains in general, it's not a bad thing to, what you could do is add like an extra veggie, probably an extra fruit in place of that carb, and maybe even 2 extra fruits to just try to balance that out. Because rather than going by grams, she just goes by calories basically.
Okay.
Does that makes sense? If your body doesn't do well with grains and you like don't feel good with that, then do extra fruits and veggies is what I would do. And maybe maybe 1 extra protein and an extra fruit, or 2 extra fruits. You'll just kind of have to play with that and see what you feel good with.
All right. Yeah. My endocrinologist wanted me to be as gluten-free as possible, so that's why I try to stay away from all of the carbs that I can. But knowing that I get carbs through my fruits and vegetables, I've always done okay.
Right.
But I just didn't know what this plan, if there was any restrictions I should worry about.
Yeah, no, I think if you don't do well with gluten and you wanted those grains, you could do, like your brown rice and your quinoa, and the sweet potato does count as a carb container, and I actually feel really good using a sweet potato as my carb. But I like carbs, so I do have like bread, and I like it. And I actually feel, depending on what I'm eating, I feel pretty good with it. So, but yeah, tailor it to your needs for sure.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Cool. We will chat in the group. If you guys have questions that come up along the way, make sure you ask and be vulnerable. And yeah, I'm excited for this group. This is going to be awesome. So make sure you share your before and afters, and we will chat in the group. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.